to everyone, and it'll also be located on our website on that tab we share. A little bit of housekeeping in your chat box. If you can click down and hit your chat box, that is where we're going to be fielding questions. So if you do have any questions, you can type them into that chat box. We're trying to keep this to an hour, and we have several speakers. So that'll help us. We'll be answering those questions at the end, or we might have time for just one or two questions after each speaker presents. As far as introductions, I first want to introduce myself. Faye Kuzman. I'm the horticulture agent here at the Woodford County Extension Office. And then the other two organizers of this event that you'll hear from later in this presentation are Rachel Kane, and she is the District Operations Manager with the Woodford County Conservation District, and Adam Probst, the Agriculture Agent here at the Woodford County Extension Office. So we are excited to have you all for this event. And with that, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. And we're gonna go through first. We're gonna hear from Cindy Finiseth, then Joni Nelson with Kentucky State University, Jennifer Hudnall with Farm Service Agency, or I'm sorry, Chelsea, and then Greta with Conservation, Rachel, and then Adam. So first we have Cindy Finiseth, and Cindy is the Executive Director with the Kentucky Horticulture Council. And Cindy, thanks so much for joining us today, and I'm going to let you take it away.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Faye. I'm so happy to be here with y'all today, and what a great crowd. Makes me excited to see so many people interested. And I realize that not everyone today is probably interested in horticulture, but that's okay. Hopefully you'll hear something that sparks your interest. And if not, that's okay too. Pass the word along to any friend you know who might be interested in horticulture production. The first program that I want to talk about a little bit is our Small Fruits program. So the Kentucky Hort Council is partnering with UK to provide technical assistance and financial assistance to growers who are interested in small fruit production. And just to kind of clarify that, small fruit production is strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Those soft fruits are small perennial or annual crops. It's not small fruits like if you have tiny little peaches on your trees. So just to kind of clarify that, it is restricted to just small fruit production. And this program is for growers interested in either getting into production or expanding their production of those crops. And like I said, it's a financial and technical assistance program. The financial piece, we can provide up to $1,250 for inputs, and it's pretty, we have a lot of latitude there. So it's whatever inputs make the most sense for that specific grower. So it might be plant material, it might be deer fencing, it might be bird netting, but we create a custom plan for the grower so that it's the best thing there. So that's the first program I want to talk about. It's very simple to participate. It's just a grower profile that you complete with some basic information. Now, I know that probably most everyone is from Woodford County, which is great because Woodford County residents qualify for this program. If you're in Fayette, I know that's an adjacent county. Unfortunately, Fayette County and Jefferson County are exempt from this program because they're not considered rural counties. So that would be the only thing to keep in mind. So that's the first program. Anyone who's interested, you can go on our website, fill out a grower profile, or you can send us an email and just say you're interested, and we can kind of get you started into the program. And we've had a few growers in Woodford County participate. So it's really good if you're either thinking about or currently growing those small fruit crops. The next program I want to talk about is GAP certification. And some of you may not be at a scale where this would make sense yet, but if you are interested in getting into wholesale produce markets, so and that can be any kind of produce. So this one's completely wide open, any kind of fruit or vegetable. Some buyers require GAP certification. And if that's the case, we can help you get a farm food safety plan together. We can help you prepare and get a GAP certification audit. And then the program that we have provides a 75% cost share. So for growers who are interested in those wholesale markets, we can definitely help with that. Another program that we have, which isn't really a funding program, but an assistance program, is our ag water testing. So we can come on farm and sample water sources. So for FSMA, if you haven't been through FSMA training yet, from food safety standpoint, if you're using surface water, like a pond, a lake, a stream, or groundwater, like a well, for either production or post-harvest handling, you're required to test that water source. So our program provides the financial piece of that. So we'll come on the farm, sample those water sources, take those samples to the laboratory, pay for the testing, and then help you interpret those test results afterwards. So if you're not familiar with FSMA, folks at the Extension Office can help, folks at KDA, Kentucky Department of Agriculture, can help you understand, like, if those, or what pieces of that apply to you, because there's some requirements around that. So that's another program that we have that is to help growers using, like I said, those water sources. And another piece of that is, even if you're not currently using those water sources for production, but you're thinking about it, so maybe you have a pond on your property that you would like to use or think about using, we can help you sample that to see if it would be an appropriate water source, so that you're not so reliant on municipal water. So that's another program that we have. There are several other specific programs. We have a crop insurance education program, and I think probably our friends at FSA will talk about crop insurance programs and payment structures for that. But that's something you can participate in. Again, there's no funding piece applied, but it's to help you understand crop insurance a little bit better. And that's another program. Every second Tuesday of the month, we have a webinar that's on a very specific topic that you can log into and watch those webinars. We have a few other educational programs like around sustainable practices, direct marketing. We're doing a lot of work in farm to school area. And then also, for those of you who may be growing cut flowers, we have some educational programs where we partner with others to provide educational sessions on growing and marketing of cut flowers. So any of those would be fair game that you could, ask us questions about. We can help you connect up with other resources. But really, the funding ones I wanted to talk about were those about the small fruits, the gaps, and then the ag water testing. And of course, you're welcome to contact me directly, get on our website, contact any of our staff if you have any kinds of questions. And then just lastly, I want to mention what's called the Hort Biz Quiz. So a lot of times we talk to growers who are thinking about production, but maybe they don't exactly know what they want to produce yet. So this Hort Biz Quiz is just a little tool that you can go through, and you answer a series of questions around your access to land, labor, and capital. And then at the end, it will give you some suggestions. And it will also tell you some things to maybe avoid. So unless you have unlimited land, labor, and capital, you probably don't want to start a winery. So that's just one example. But if you have access to land, but maybe not much capital or not much labor, it'll give you some options for that. So it's a really great tool if you're kind of flirting with the idea of horticulture crops, but you're not exactly sure what that you're interested in. And this was a tool we developed with the UK Center for Crop Diversification. And Faye dropped that link in the website, or you could Google it to find it. But it's a great little tool that kind of helps you think through some things if you want to initiate or expand your current operation. So I encourage you to look at that, and then you would take the output then to your local extension office. So you would go in and talk to Kay about some of those options, and she can give you some more custom recommendations about, yeah, this would be great, let's get you some soil tests done, or this would be a good idea, or maybe you don't want to think about this, here's some other resources. So again, that's not something funding, but certainly will help you save money thinking about maybe what kind of enterprise you would want to add to your operation. So those are the programs I wanted to mention real quickly. We do have a few other programs. Certainly, if you have any questions, get in contact with us. You can Google Hort Council. You can, search by my name, and it probably will pull the Hort Council up, or any of those ways to find us, or you can go back to Kay and say, hey, wait, I want to talk to those horticulture people again, and she can connect you up too. So thank you so much for letting me join you today, and let me tell you a little bit about our programs, and anything we can do to help you from a horticulture standpoint, just give us a email, call, text. We're happy to help you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cindy. That was a great informational piece on all of your programs. I did drop the links in the chat box there if you want to find links to their page. It looks like there were a couple people that typed in there were Nelson County and Spencer County. As far as that small fruits grant, that's for anybody except Fayette and Jefferson. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. And it can be someone who is currently growing or someone who is thinking about growing. Now, the thing here is it has to be for commercial purposes. If it's just hobby and you want a couple blackberry plants or a couple blueberry plants, it's really more for commercial growers, not for hobbyists. So that would be the other thing I'd want to point out on that program. But yep, any counties other than those two.
Great, thank you so much. And as Cindy said, you can follow their webpage to contact her or find more information, or just contact one of us, the organizers, and we can get you that information. All right, so next up we have Joni Nelson, and Joni is the manager of the Center for Sustainability of Farms and Families with Kentucky State University, and she's going to talk about their small farmer grant and a couple other programs. So thanks, Joni. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. We have several different programs here at Kentucky State University that can help producers in the area. We have a commercial kitchen, and we have processes in place to try to help people go from home-based to micro-based to commercial processing. We try to help field the area of people that want to do, kind of figure out if you want to be home-based or if you need to be micro-based or commercial, depending on what you're growing and what you're doing. We have a small farm conference coming up in a couple of weeks, like the 16th and 17th of this month. It's free, and it's going to be virtual and online. I'm not sure if I sent you the link to that, but I'll get it to you. I know it's on our Facebook page as well. And so we also have an education grant where we can give up to $500 to people in Kentucky. You don't actually have to be producing a product for this grant, and you can use that for educational programs. It could be online or in person, either one. It'll pay for the travel there, the registration in your hotel room. It just can't pay for food along the way. Like, you can't stop at McDonald's and grab something and turn the receipts. But we also have the small farm grant, which is probably what most people are interested in. And the small farm grant is up to $5,000 with a $10,000 lifetime max. You don't have to get up to 5 at one time. You can get 1,000, 100, whatever you need. It's basically for equipment to produce whatever it is you're doing. We have several different categories, and depending on what category you fall in will kind of depend on what kind of equipment that you can get. We have agroforestry, aquaculture, aquaponics, organic, food insecure, and value-added processing. Value-added processing is the only one that we do not help with production-related equipment under. That's just mainly things like commercial kitchens, blenders. Think of using milk to soap or milk to cheese or the berry to jam. So whatever equipment that you need to make that process, we can help you purchase. And as far as the other areas, we can do production related equipment in those. The food insecure area, you actually have to live or produce in a food insecure area, and that map is on our website as to what counties those cover. So if you produce or you sell into one of those counties, you can get production related equipment under the food insecure category. And this also includes small ruminants as well. But the thing about small ruminants is it's under food insecure, so it actually has to be going into the food market. So it can't be for breeders, or anything like that. And cattle is excluded under that category as well. So no cattle production or anything. The only thing we pretty much do with cattle is under the value added, where we help with freezer beef. We've done a lot of freezers and coolers and cold storage and things like that under those under that category. Agroforestry is new, so under that category, we're thinking ginseng, black cohosh. If you're doing silviculture, running them through, we've got maple syrup. We've got some stuff for bees under that category as well. The main thing to think about with a small farm grant is think of something that's going to be there at the end of the grant. So we can't buy like jars or labels or any kind of consumables or expendables. We can't buy your animal or your plant. You know, like Cindy can buy the berry trees or the bushes and stuff like that. We can't purchase inputs or anything like that with the grant. Think of something physical that will be there at the end of the grant. Now the grant is you have to be producing between $1,000 and $250,000 in order to apply for the grant. It is, like I said, a lifetime max of $10,000, but you can use it, up to $5,000 each time. It doesn't matter what category. You can keep going underneath the same category if you wanted to. That's fine with us. You can, I'm trying to think, what am I missing here? It's been a while. The program is actually in its renewal phase right now. So the application for 2022 is not up yet. I'm working on that and I hope to get it out by December 1st. But you can go to the website and look at the former application. It's not really going to change a whole lot. So you can look at that application, and we have these things called supplemental forms too. So you want to look at the supplemental categories and see which one you fit under. And then when you figure out which one you fit under, you'll know which of those supplemental forms to fill out. And I'm always willing to help walk people through the grant. I have a video out there also, I believe that's on our website, that shows how to fill out the grant application. It's not going to change a whole lot in 2022 because that requires a whole lot more work than I have time. No. But the questions may adjust just a little bit, and that's about it for the new application. The farmer education application is out there. It's the only thing that's going to change on that. It's going to say 2022, 2023. It's not really going to change. And I also wanted to say that we've helped a lot of people with maple syrup in the past, sorghum, commercial kitchens, cold storage. We haven't really done a whole lot of fencing or anything, but you mentioned flower farming earlier. We've done cold storage for flower farming and different things like that as well. We also have a sorghum press. If anybody that's doing sorghum that is interested in that, we have a press that we can lend out and take around to different farms throughout the state as well. And that's a free service. We have a commercial kitchen that's on wheels that we can take around. If anybody needs a commercial kitchen, we can bring that around. And then we have the one on the farm that we actually use to help people go through the process. Do we have any questions? How am I doing on time? I'm trying to go fast, but not too fast.
You are good. You have till 25 after. So if anybody has a quick question or you want to add anything, we did put the link to your website on in the chat box. So if anybody is looking for that, just go into your chat box and you'll find that link. And once again, we are recording this. We'll send that to everybody. We have created a web page that will have all these resources on. And so we'll be sharing that link here in just a few minutes.
Yeah. And our third Thursday events, also every third Thursday, we have a different event at our farm. It's online and it's in person. So we'll stream it both. Even though the Small Farm Conference is virtual, the third Thursday things are still in person. Each month is different. And this month, I believe, is NRCS and things like that. As far as cold storage and freezers, if you've heard of the CoolBot system, you have a air conditioner that you can plug in a CoolBot to and turn a 10 by 10 room into 36 degrees. So we've done a lot of those. We've done freezers on trailers as well. Typically, we don't buy anything with an engine, like we can't buy your tractor, or your truck or things like that. But we have bought generators to run these cold storage units and these freezers that people put on trailers as well to take to farmers markets and things like that as well.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Joni. Lots of great programs there. We really appreciate you joining us today.
You're welcome.
All right. So next up on our agenda, we are going to have Chelsea Hates, and Chelsea is with Farm Service Agency. here in Woodford County, but she's going to discuss all of their programs that are available throughout all the surrounding counties. So Chelsea, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Heights. I'm the program technician here at Woodford County in Versailles. Just to do a little background, we cover Anderson, Franklin, and Woodford. We're actually in the midst of hiring a new employee. If you know anybody that's interested in applying, they have till next Tuesday. They go on usajobs.gov, filter to Farm Service Agency and in Kentucky, and they will be able to apply through there. If they have any questions, feel free to call the office. Me or Jennifer will be glad to help. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. We have a little short presentation to go through. How do I go to the next? There we go. Sorry. I'm new at this, so bear with me. What is Farm Service Agency? Farm Service Agency is a part of USDA, provides programs, loans to farmers and ranchers and agricultural partner organizations, provide food, fuel, and fiber to millions of people worldwide. Who we serve livestock producers, grain producers, orchards, vineyards, vegetable producers, landowners interested in conservation efforts. Our safety net, programs that are designed to help producers in difficult weather-related and disaster events, provide alternatives to producers to overcome market volatility. I'm going to skip that. Sorry. Provide a hand to help those to put food on our table. Common services. We do the farm serial numbers here. So basically what that is if you want a farm number for your farm to get an aerial map and get the cropland, just come into the office, bring your deed and plat into us, and we'll be able to get you that farm number. It normally takes about 2 to 4 weeks. So if you come in, give us all that stuff, we will try to get that out to you efficiently as fast as we can. And then it explains the second bullet, digital imagery. So you will get a picture of your map with the boundary lines that lets you know what your farm number is in the bottom left corner, and also the boundary lines in the cropland acres. Farm programs, ARC PLC grain contracts. You've got 3 different categories there. You got ARC County, individual ARC, and PLC. ARC County is based on the actual county crop revenue that is covered by the commodity less than the agricultural risk coverage county guarantee for covered commodity. The PLC payments are issued when the effective price and the covered commodity is less than the respective reference price of the commodity established in the statute. Just to break it down simpler for you, county is based on county average, and PLC is based on national price for that program. Some disaster assistance that we have are the livestock forage program, livestock indemnity program, emergency livestock assistance program, tree assistance, and non-insured crop disaster assistance. Some other farm programs we have are the marginal protection revenue, which is the dairy program, marketing assistance loans, loan deficiency payments, farm storage facility loans, and sugar storage facility loan program. We have conservation reserve program. We have general and continuous, farmable wetlands program, conservation reserve enhancement program, and emergency conservation program. And also biomass crop assistance program and emergency forest restoration program. Farm loans. FSA loans are designated to help family farmers to start, purchase, and expand. So there's ownership and operating, and you can do micro or youth loans. Farm loans are targeted to underserved the beginning farmers and ranchers, down payment program, emergency loans, and farm storage facility loans for grain and hay. These are the farm storage facility loan rates for October, but they don't really change that much month to month. If someone is wanting to know what the November interest rates are, just give us a call and we can give you a copy of that. What you do need to know is that I get to know your USDA staff, the Farm Service Agency, set up a meeting with me or NRCS across the hallway. Bring your deed and plat into us if you're wanting a farm number. Sometimes it'll be easy transfer if it's just a ownership change, but if we have to go in and do a recon where we have to split the farm off, divide the tracts, move any kind of boundary lines, that will take a little bit. So bear with us. It's 2 to 4 weeks is what I tell everybody. And make sure that you report your crops. Cover crop is coming up, and that's December 15th of 2021. And we will want you all to come in to report your cover crops. Also, for the other grains, so soybeans, corn, tobacco, hay, anything like that, you need to report those July 15th of every year. So if you want to call, schedule an appointment, come in, we can have your maps ready to make it easy and as painless as possible. So if you have any information that you need, if you need some fact sheets on some of the programs that I have discussed today, I will be more than glad to help you. I know it was a lot of information. We do have a website called farmers.gov, so you guys can get on there and filter through whatever program that you're wanting more information on, or you can just pick up the phone, call me. Jennifer's number's there. That's the office number and her email address. So like I said, we are hiring another program technician for Woodford County. So if you know anybody, just have them apply on usajobs.gov.
Great, thanks so much, Chelsea. We really appreciate that information. Does anybody have any quick questions for Chelsea before we go to the next speaker? We do have just a couple minutes. You can type them in the chat box or unmute to ask about any Farm Service Agency programs. Okay, well, we will get the slides to share with you all for that, as well as in the chat box. I did put the website that we will be uploading all this information to, in addition to the email we'll be sending. All right, well, not seeing any questions, so we will move on now. We can always hold those to the end. I think most of the speakers will be on. One quick question, are all the FSA offices open to set up a meeting?
Most of them are. I know that we are open, so you can walk straight in the door, but I would highly suggest call the FSA office before you make the trip up there to make sure they're open, or whether they have to meet you outside. But we encourage everybody to wear a mask when they come into the building. So, but yeah, I would just give them a call.
All right. Last year there was a CAIP grant. Will there be one we can apply for this year? Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about our, I had to reread that. Adam will be discussing that coming up.
Yeah, we'll get to CAIP here in just a few moments. So
sorry about that, Chelsea. I was still reading it. Yep, Adam will be here in just a minute. But now we're going to have Greta Steverson, and she is with Natural Resource Conservation Service, and she will be discussing several of their programs. So Greta, thanks for joining us today.
All right, glad to be here. We are a sister agency to FSA, so we work hand in hand with Chelsea and the FSA employees to offer a lot of the conservation programs. The couple that are the primary programs that NRCS offer that you may have already heard about are EQIP, the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, and the Conservation Stewardship Program, CSP. We use acronyms pretty frequently. EQIP is a program that is designed to help producers, whether it's pasture land, if it's cropland, if it's vegetable, if it's forestry, if it's wildlife. We've got lots of different practices that are available to help address resource concerns. In the past, it used to be where farmers would come to us and say, I want this or I want that. And now everything that we do has to be done to correct a resource problem, such as, do you have erosion occurring? If so, then we would look at putting some grass seed down, or do we need to do a grass waterway? Or do you have impaired water quality, such as having livestock in the stream? We would look at possibly fencing them off, doing a rotational grazing system. We also work with like vegetable producers. If you're doing a farmer's market or a CFA, then we've installed lots of seasonal high tunnels across the state. So those are also very popular and available statewide. For those that are into forestry, we've got practices such as timber stand improvement and invasive species removal, and also wildlife practices if you're wanting to put out pollinator plots or do anything to promote or enhance wildlife habitat. Our particular programs are available to everyone across the state. I know you said there were a couple on here from Spencer and Nelson. These very same programs are offered there. You'll just have a different contact person and I can put you in touch with those. As far as EQIP goes, we have a flat rate that we pay. If you qualify in a specific category, such as a beginning farmer, limited resource producer, historically underserved, you can actually receive more cost share than say someone like my husband who's been farming for 40 years. So we do have a ample funding for most of the practices. You basically just need to come by our office, and we're co-located with the Woodford County Conservation District. So Rachel helps us out with those. All you have to do is stop by, drop off an application or pick one up. We take applications year round. We have funding cutoff cycles, typically once a year, but depending on how much funding we get, we may have it twice. We're currently have established a cutoff cycle for November the 12th. So any applications that we have received since last March through November the 12th will be considered for the first round of funding, which will probably be approved and allocated sometime in February or March. So EQIP, just remember, is a cost share program to help correct issues if you need prescribed grazing, watering facilities, fencing, for livestock operations, for crop, if you need cover crops, if you need grass waterways, and again, seasonal high tunnels affect a lot of different type of operations. So stop in and let us know if that interests you. I've asked Rachel while I'm speaking to post a couple of links to our Kentucky NRCS homepage, as well as USDA, which has farmers.gov. And especially for new farmers, that will point you in a lot of directions of explaining more in depth some of these programs and forms that are needed. One other program that's pretty popular is called the Conservation Stewardship Program. And that program really is what I consider like the second step of conservation. It is for individuals who are already doing a great job of conservation, whether you've participated in our programs or not. It's for those that are doing a really good job and want to, so to speak, kick it up a notch. So it's a 5-year contract that offers cost share to put in some additional practices over what EQIP does. We typically stair step them, do EQIP first and then CSP. And so anyone that is already doing an outstanding job on conservation stewardship may want to look into applying for CSP. And again, we take applications year round with a specific period that we have cut off for consideration for funding. I know a lot of you on here may have worked with some of our staff. Johnny Davenport is located there, kind of covers Franklin, Anderson, and Woodford. I've got a new district conservationist, Brandon Jacobs. I'm going to throw Brandon on camera here, let him get introduced to everybody today. Brandon will be primarily responsible for Franklin, Anderson, and Woodford as well, and we'll be making farm visits. And so if you need anybody out on the farm, he'll be glad to come out and visit. The other thing is that we do work hand in hand with the Woodford County Conservation District, and some of the practices and programs that Rachel's going to talk about here in just a second. Our staff from NRCS actually come out and do the field work for them. So we are two different entities, but a lot of folks see us as the same face, and that's great because we're all here for the same common goal to get conservation on the ground. So if anybody has any questions, be glad to take them, or you can give the office a call and talk to any of us at any time so we can help out with things. All right, that's all I've got, Adam. And like I said, I'll be around till it closes out. If anybody comes up with anything else they need an answer for.
All right, thanks, Greta. Well, I think up next, Faye introduced her earlier, but Rachel Caines with the Woodford County Conservation District, and I think she's going to give us a little more information on some of their local cost share programs.
All right. Yeah, I'm Rachel Kane, and I see some familiar names on here, but if I don't know you, I just got here within the last year. So I'm still figuring things out, but we have several local cost share programs here. Dead animal removal is a popular one, and for that, if you have a dead animal on your property, that's limited to livestock, you can receive a reimbursement of up to $75 for that. You do have to go through one of our approved businesses to pick up that animal, which you can call or visit our website for a list of those. And we have several. We also have a cover crop program. That program runs all year. Any of these programs, you can submit an application all year as funding allows. So for that, we'll pay $10 per acre up to 100 acres for harvested corn, grain, silage, or soybeans. And then for tobacco, it's $10 per acre up to 50 acres. So just come in and grab one of those applications if you'd like one of those. That has to be planted by December 1st. Our most popular program is probably Rock Gateway. That is going on right now as well. So if you'd like to come in and grab an application, that is to repair any gateways that you have that you might be having trouble for animals or machinery or whatever you need, having trouble with them crossing. So that has to be a field-to-field gateway. It can't be to the road or a driveway, but just come in and grab one of those. You can do one gateway per year. Or you can apply for one gateway per year, and then first-time applicants will receive priority, but feel free to apply again the following year. So kind of to piggyback off of Greta, well, before I get there, we do soil testing through the Extension Office, so go to them for the soil testing that is funded through us, but we also do grid soil sampling if you're interested in that, and you can get a partial reimbursement for that as well. But to piggyback off of Greta a little bit, we do have a 75-25 soil tech here, Jared Davenport. So he is relatively new, and he is here to help you all as well with state cost share and EQIP. Both of those applications you can come in this office and get, and then we'll connect you with NRCS and get that process started for you. So we kind of serve as a middleman for them. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me, and we can kind of send you to the right person. Other than that, we do have some equipment rental available. We have 2 no-till drills here, a post driver here, and then we have a hay wrapper and some drills located at Woodford Feed and at Versailles Home and Garden. So we kind of have them scattered around. So just give me a call and we can get you scheduled to rent those. The price varies. So just give us a call if you're interested in that. And then other than that, just a reminder, because I know this will apply to several of you in here, if you haven't updated your ag water quality plan since this past August, you need to come in or give us a call and we can walk you through that. That has been updated. So even if you did it last year and it should be still good, we need to redo those as of this August. So just give me a call and we'll walk you through that new process and get that done. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Kind of breeze through that, but if there's any questions, I can answer those.
Thanks so much, Rachel. That was great. Great information on the local programs that are also available throughout other counties. And as she mentioned, the equipment rental that they have, we also have equipment rental through local county extension offices. So definitely contact your local county extension office to see what kind of equipment we may have available for you to rent. So not seeing any questions. If you do have them as we go through, definitely feel free to type them in the chat box. We'll get them at the end. But next up is Adam Probst, our agriculture agent, here to talk about our county agriculture investment program.
Let me unmute there. I've got a few slides we'll talk about here real quick. So hopefully everybody can see the slides there. But real quick, wanted to talk about the County Agricultural Investment Program. We've kind of hit this hard the last few years, so I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And I realized that there are some other folks from other counties on the program today. So it does differ a little bit county to county. All of the things that are offered stay the same. The biggest differences may be sign-up periods, the amount of funding that you might be able to get, that sort of thing. But for those of you that don't know, the County Agricultural Investment Program is all part of the master settlement funds that were distributed from tobacco companies to the state attorney generals from several years ago. Kentucky used those funds to reinvest in agriculture. We were one of the very, very few states that did that. I think there was 42 states that received those funds. We were one of two, I believe, that decided to do that. I guess I need to update this a little bit, but the funds are managed by the Kentucky Ag Development Board. The governor's office, what was formerly the governor's office of agricultural policy, oversaw those in conjunction with the Kentucky Ag Development Board. It has now become the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy. There were some administrative changes there, but each county has an agricultural development council that decides how much or how those funds that each county gets are used. So in Woodford County's case, it changes year to year, but we get usually somewhere around $250,000 from the state or from the Kentucky Ag Development Board each year. So the County Ag Development Council then decides how we're going to spend those funds. It may be this local cost share program, it may be some other projects that may be a little further reaching, that sort of thing. So, but as far as the cost share program, anyone can apply that owns and rents lands within the administering county. So if you're here in Woodford County, you would apply through Woodford County. You may own and rent land in more than one county. So maybe you're in Woodford and Anderson County. You can actually apply in both counties. There are some limits, statewide limits that you have to abide by, which is $5,000. You're scored based on your answer to each question on those applications, and then each county board determines that minimum score that would be eligible. So in Woodford County's case, we have a minimum score to be even considered for funding. Usually we have enough people apply that we'll start at the top of the list, whoever scores the highest, and we just kind of go down till we run out of money. So like Woodford County, our minimum score is a 44. Maybe you scored a 55, but we were only able to fund people down to maybe a score of 60, which means all of those people that scored between a 44 and a 60 would then be put on a waiting list. This last year, we were actually able to fund a lot of those that were on the waiting list. Weren't quite able to get all of them, but we were able to get several. So just because you might be put on a waiting list doesn't necessarily mean that you will not receive any funding. CAIP covers a lot of different things, more things than I can go spend the time here today to go through, but there's 11 different investment areas. You can apply in up to 3 of those different investment areas each year, but you can kind of see the list there. I know we had a question earlier about greenhouses. So there's a farm infrastructure investment area that can help cover the cost of greenhouses, whether it's new builds, renovations. You know, we've had some producers that have had some old tobacco greenhouses that fell out of use, just fell in disrepair. We're able to use these funds to get those recovered, maybe get new heaters, that sort of thing for those facilities. So lots of different things that are involved in those. And in Woodford County, they all have a $4,000 maximum. So let's take, maybe you wanted to apply in the large animal category, you wanted to build some fence, maybe you wanted to make some repairs on a shed or build a lean-to on the barn. You'd have 3 different investment areas, but you're limited to $4,000 across those 3 investment areas total each year. So it's not going to be you're limited to $4,000 in one investment area, and then you can apply it to 2 others. But so just to be clear, it's a $4,000 max that you get for the year across 3 investment areas. And you may decide that you only, maybe you just needed to buy some posts or a couple of gates and something like that. It can be any amount up to that. So I've had some people that, they applied, we just wanted to buy this one thing and it cost us $500. they're eligible to get $250 back, and go from there. So it's any amount up to $4,000. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Kentucky has a minimum score of 44. Each county may be a little different, but for Woodford County, we keep with that state minimum. For those of you that might be in Spencer, Nelson County, Taylor County, you know, it may be a different minimum score there based on the county's needs and desires. Again, you can apply them to 3 investment areas. We can only cover 50%. Some counties may cover up to 75%. It just depends on, again, on the county. But for Woodford County, we're going to cover up to 50% of those eligible projects. And then a little bit more on projects. So we can actually go retroactive on some projects. So maybe you've done some things this summer. We were hoping to have signups at this point, but we're still waiting on some paperwork from Frankfurt. So looking forward to having some signups for CAIP here in November here in Woodford County. But we should be able to go back through most of the summer on anything that you might have already completed. So if you apply, you get approved, you've already, you know, completed these projects, you can go ahead and turn those receipts in if they fall within that date range, and get reimbursed for those. Otherwise, maybe you're wanting to build a fence, you're wanting to see if you get approved first. We can work with you, and once you apply, you'd have until July 1st of 2022 if you get approved to get that project completed. So pretty wide timeline, usually about 15 months between what we can go back and forward on. But again, you'd have until July 1st of the following year to get that project completed. A little bit on completing your project. So at least here in Woodford County, everybody has to complete an educational component. This class or this workshop right here would actually qualify for that. It can be something financial related, something related to your production system, that sort of thing. You do have to have a Kentucky Ag Water Quality Plan. As Rachel mentioned, they've changed that this year. It is a requirement to complete or to participate in this program, as well as being a requirement. I know Chelsea had mentioned having a farm serial number. Any of these cost share programs, you pretty much have to have a farm serial number, including CAIP. Proof of payment is also required. It's kind of new in 2020. So you have to turn in some sort of proof of payment, either cancel check, something like that. Again, you don't receive funding until the project's complete, and you have to provide a picture of that completed project. So well, we've got some more information on the Woodford County Extension website. You can click on there to see all the 2021 investment areas, what all's covered in each one. Or you can also go to the Kentucky Ag Development Fund, or it's just agpolicy.ky.gov, and they've got a lot more information on there as well. Any questions on CAIP? I kind of went through that fairly quickly.
We do have some questions in the chat box, Adam.
All right, give me just a moment. I'm going to try to pull the chat box back up here. Too many things on my on my screen. So it looks like one question: how does someone improve the score and then know what scores are higher? Typically, participants that may not have participated in the past will generally score higher. So that scoring rubric comes from Frankfurt each year from the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy. That changes every year depending on who they may want to try to target in these CAIP programs. Sometimes it's more, you get more points as a beginning farmer. Sometimes you get more points as a more established farmer. It just kind of depends year to year. Again, these funds were all developed in order to help tobacco producers shift away from tobacco production and diversify. Typically, those producers that might have raised tobacco in the past, be a dependent of a parent that might have raised tobacco in the past, generally those individuals may score a little bit higher. But again, like I said, it changes year to year. We don't know that until we get those scoring rubrics in from Frankfurt. But and I've had people in the past that, they might not have been approved for funding one year. They apply the next year and they're the highest scoring application we've got. So sometimes it depends on the year. Sometimes it depends on the number of applicants we have and that sort of thing too. So I had a question on, do we pick up the CAIP applications or can we download them? We will have both options again this year, so you can pick those up here at the Woodford County Extension Office at the Ag Resource Building, or we'll also have those on our website, the woodford.ca.uky.edu site. There's a cost share information tab. Once we receive those, copy those applications and get all that formatted, we'll have those on the website you can download. So they do have to be physically turned in to the office here. We'll have some drop off things of that sort. So I know some people are still uncomfortable getting out and getting in offices, that sort of thing. So we'll have some other options to get those turned in. So are there any other questions? How do I get help to be able to build hay storage? There is some funding, so you can do that through the CAIP program. You can also use FSA. As Chelsea mentioned, there's some farm storage facility loans. If you're exclusively using that for hay or some sort of commodity storage, you can get one of those low interest loans. A lot of times I've directed some producers to do that. They can, especially knowing that the CAIP assistance is only going to give $4,000. So a lot of times somebody may go to FSA, get a loan, a farm storage facility loan, still turn that in for the CAIP program, and use those cost share funds to help pay that loan back. That's always an option. So there's a few options. I don't know, Greta, if there's really anything through NRCS to help with hay storage. I don't know if Greta's still on here, but
I am. We don't do anything like that at all, Adam. We don't do hay storage,
okay.
hay buildings or anything. No.
So really the only way, for most hay storage options is going to be through CAIP, or kind of coupling that or instead using some of those low interest loans with farm service agencies. So let's see, we also have a question, what's the earliest date of receipts for 2021 for CAIP? Again, that's going to be specifically for Woodford County, and to be honest, Cynthia, I don't have that date yet. It all depends on when a couple of papers get signed in Frankfurt. Anticipating somewhere around May the 1st, but just don't have that exact date yet. So other questions? I will say that pretty much as Chelsea had mentioned earlier with Farm Service Agency and USDA, all of us here at the Ag Resource Building are open. So feel free to stop by, drop in. We've got Extension Service here. We've got Fish and Wildlife, Conservation District, NRCS, and FSA all here in the same building. So definitely, if y'all haven't been out to visit us before, I encourage you all to come out and meet with us. And as soon as we get a lot of these other programs and deadlines and stuff, we'll send that out. We are working on, as Faye, I think, had mentioned in the chat earlier, we'll have some more information on our Woodford County Extension website, some of all these different cost share options, and some different fact sheets and contact info to reach out to everybody else that might have presented today. So. With that, Faye, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. We'll be sending everyone an email with the information links, and then you can check that website we shared, which will also include in those links that we email, and then we'll have a recording of the session that we'll put up on that website and hopefully be able to email you a link to as well. So thanks everyone for joining.